Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to the online teaching academy Ekalaiva, class 10, Social Science. So far we have been discussing about the chapter Money and Credit. In the previous session, you have learnt about the loan activities of bank and two different credit situations and also about the terms of credit. And today we are going to look at the formal sector's credit in India and self-help groups for the poor and also about the Grameen Bank of Bangladesh. Okay, so today we are going to look at first of all the formal sector's credit in India. Okay, so we know the people obtain loan from the various sources, isn't it? So they will obtain loan from the bank or cooperatives, or sometimes they will get loan from the money lenders or the village traders or anybody. Okay, so the people will obtain loan from the different sources. Okay, so this various type of loans can be grouped as formal source of credit and informal source of credit. So if we talk about the formal source of credit, the loan from the banks and cooperatives are comes under the formal source of credit. And if we talk about the informal, the loan obtained by the borrower from the friends, relatives, or the money lender or the village trader, that is comes under the informal source of credit. And I will now we will see in detail about the formal source of credit and informal source of credit. Okay, so the formal source of credit, there is the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, supervise the functioning of the formal source of loans, and they provide loan at the fixed rate and terms. So listen here, children. The RBI it supervises the functioning of the banks in India, and the RBI supervise the functions of the banks. Okay, and they also provide loans at the cheaper rate of interest. Okay, and the RBI also ensures that whether the banks are giving loan only to the uh, businessman or to the small traders or small cultivators. So the RBI checks, okay, listen here. Yeah. Yeah, the RBI checks that the banks, whether it gives loan not just to the profit making businessmen and also to the traders and small cultivators and small scale industrialists. Okay. So the Reserve Bank of India supervise whether the banks are giving the loan only to the profit-making people or even to the small-scale industrialists or the small cultivators. And then, yeah, bank and cooperatives comes under the category of the formal sector. So just now I told that. So the people who obtain loan from bank and cooperatives, they are comes under the formal source of credit. That is known as formal source of credit. Okay. And now we move on to see the informal source of credit. So here there is no organization which supervise the credit activities of lenders in the informal. So there is no organization to supervise the functioning of the informal sources of credit. But whereas if you look at the formal source, the RBI, Reserve Bank of India is there and it supervises the functioning of bank and everything. But in informal, there is no such organization is supervise the credit activities of informal. And of course, the rate of interest are not fixed, and moneylender can charge whatever interest rate they choose. So there is no fixed interest rate, and the moneylender can charge any percentage of interest rate as they wish. Okay. So to give the loan to the small cultivator, they give loan to the small cultivators to gain profit. There is no one to stop them from using unfair means to get their money back. So if they are indulging in unfair means to get their money, such as sometimes they beaten up the people who borrow money, or sometimes they may threaten the people who borrow money from them. So if they use the unfair means to get back their money, means nobody will be there to stop them. There is no organization or no one is there to stop them. Okay. And the informal lenders includes the money lenders, traders, and employees and relatives and friends. Okay. So this is what about the formal source of credit and informal source of credits in India. And now we are going to see in detail about the formal sector's credit in India. And of course, we know that is if people obtain loan from informal sectors of credit means they will charge high interest rate, isn't it? So if they charge high interest rate, the people can't able to repay the loan actually, isn't it? So listen here. So what happens here? The higher cost of borrowing means the larger part of the earning of the borrower is used to repay the loan. If, for example, a person is obtaining loan from informal source, like 1 lakh, but the person is earning only 25,000 rupees per month. So in this case, the person have to spend more amount of his earning to repay the loan because the loan amount is somewhat high. Okay, so the higher cost of borrowing means the borrower have to repay the loan a large than his earning. And then the next one, the higher rate of interest for borrowing. The higher rate of interest for borrowing means that the amount to be repaid is greater than the income of the borrower. So listen, your children. So higher interest rate, this also push the borrower to repay a greater amount than their income. So if the moneylender charge 12 percentage of as an interest rate or 15% as an interest rate for the loan, then the borrower have to repay the loan amount greater than the income of the borrower. So that is also there. So this could lead to increase the debt trap. So if they charge high interest rate, of course the people who borrow money from the informal source, they can't able to repay the loan in a uh, within a particular period. So this could lead to increase the debt trap. So they fall into debt trap again and again. So that only what happens, the banks and cooperatives are needed to lend more. Okay, so to solve out this problem, the informal sectors of credit, to solve out this problem, the banks and cooperatives needed to lend more. And of course, uh, if they lend more, that means many people can make use of that and they can avail loan at a cheaper interest rate because the formal sector credit will charge a reasonable rate. Of course, a cheaper rate of interest they will charge for the loan. So this would lead to higher incomes, and many people can avail more loans for variety of purposes, such as they can grow crops or they can do some business, they can set up some small scale industries, or they can what is it? They can relieve their mortgage land document also. So this is why the cheap and affordable credit is needed and it is crucial for the country's development. So the bank and cooperatives need to be lent more so that more and more people can avail the loan at cheaper interest rate and they can repay it in a easier way and they can take more loans for variety of purposes. Okay, so this way the cheap and affordable credit is crucial for the country's development. And now we are going to look at who gets what. And you can see the graphs here, children. So here you can notice that this blue color indicates indicates the loan from the informal sector, and this purple color indicates the loan from the formal sector. So let us see this. Okay, so if you look at the poor household, and we can see the 85% of the poor household are getting loan from the informal sector, and only 15 percentage of poor household are availing loan from formal sector. And in the same way, we will compare this to the urban, there is a rich household. Okay. And in the rich household people, about 90% of the people are getting loan from the formal, whereas only 10%, that is 10% are availing, 10% of people are availing loan from the informal sector. Okay, and then we can also notice this one, the well-off household people, 72% of the people, they are availing loan from the from the formal, and 28 from the informal. The same way, the household with a few asset, the household who have owning some asset. So in that 47% of the loan are from the formal sector, and 53% of loan from the informal sector. So what does all these shows, children? So first, the formal sector still meets only about half of the total credit needs of the rural people. Okay, so the remaining credits needs are met from the informal source. So listen here, from this graph, we will come to conclude that the formal sector still meets only about half of the total credit needs of the rural people. The remaining part, they are fulfilling from the informal source of credit. Okay. So that only what happens. So if the people are getting loan from the informal, of course, the people will charge more. The lender may charge more interest rate. There is high interest rate, so the buyer cannot able to make use of that loan properly. That is, they can't able to increase his income from that. Okay, the borrower cannot able to increase the income, so that is why it is necessary for the bank and cooperatives to lend more, especially in the rural area, because we know the poor household in the rural area, they are obtaining loan from the informal. That is 85% of loan they are availing from the informal. So to solve this problem, the government, that is the bank and cooperatives are or need to be lend more, especially in the rural area. And also, if they do so, if bank and cooperatives lend their services in the rural area, there must be a dependence on the informal source of credit. Okay, there must be a reduction in the informal source of credit. Okay, and then we have while the bank and cooperatives are lending their service in rural area, they have to keep one thing in their mind, that the formal credit is distributed more equally to the poor people. Okay, not only the rich people, and they have to ensure that the formal sectors of credits are reaching out to the poor people also. So if they reach out the poor people, they can get a cheaper interest rate, and then they can repay the loan in a proper way, and they can't be fall into the debt trap. Okay, and now we are going to step into the new concept, that is the self-help group for the poor. So, as we just now learned that still the poor poor household people in the rural area, they are depending on the informal source of credit. Why it is happening so? And even as we discussed, the bank and cooperatives are needed to lend more in rural area. Of course, we can able to notice that more and more banks are there in rural area. But why people still depending on the informal source for getting credit? because as we know in the previous session, as we learned earlier, getting bank loans is somewhat difficult than that of from the informal, because the bank need the documentation, then collateral. As the people are poor, they are not have, they can't able to own any asset, they are not having any asset, so that they are lending loan from the informal source of credit, informal sector only. Okay, so the absence of the collateral and the absence of the documentation, more and more people are still depend on the informal source of credit. Okay, but the people know, as I discussed, as I told already, the people who obtain loan from informal, the people will charge more interest rate for that, they can't able to repay. And sometimes the lender may not maintain the records of the transaction, and also they harass the people. Okay, so this is what happening in the informal source of credit. Okay, but the people have tried to give some solution for this problem, and they came out with a good solution, that is what, self-help groups for the poor. So what is the self-help group, how it is useful for the poor people? Okay, that is what we are going to see. Okay, first of all, the self-help group, or the small groups of 15 to 20 members of rural people, in particular women belonging to one neighborhood, who meet and saves regularly. Okay, so in rural area, uh, 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 the people, the women, especially the self-help groups have initiated for the women. And of course, the self-help group contains 50 to 15 to 20 members. Okay, and they will meet regularly to save their money. Okay, so the members of the group can take a small loan to meet their needs on low interest. So this member, the people who are member of this self-help group can take small loan to fulfill their needs. And here, the most of the decisions regarding the savings and loan activities are taken by the group member itself. So, monthly once or twice, they will meet, all the members of the self-help group. They will meet at a place, and then they will discuss about the savings and loan activities of the group. And the group decides as regards the loan to be granted. So when the group decided to avail the loan, they will discuss about everything, and they will avail loan from the bank. So, and also they will discuss about the purpose of loan and the amount they are going to receive from bank, and the interest rate to be charged, and the repayment mode. So everything they will be discussing when they meet monthly once or twice. So here the whole group is responsible for the repayment of the loan. Okay. So the whole group. So if it is 15 and 20, 15 to 20 members are there, all the 15 to 20 members are responsible for repayment of the loan. And in any case of non-repayment of loan by any one of the member, is followed up seriously by the other members in the group. So listen here, children. So I told that 15 to 20 members are there in a group. So if anybody is not able to repay the loan for that particular month, means the other person have to take up the responsibility. The others in the group, they have to take responsibility to repay the loan to the bank. Okay. And you can see the meeting of the self-help group, children. And initiating this self-help group is beneficial for the poor. And how this is beneficial, and what are the advantages of this self-help group, we are going to learn. So the first thing, the self-help groups help the borrower to overcome the problem of collateral. As we discussed earlier, getting the loan from the bank is somewhat difficult because the bank required collateral and the documentation at all and all. So, but this self-help group, by organizing this self-help group, no, the borrowers, they can overcome the problem of the lack of collateral. and they can get timely loan for variety of purposes and at the reasonable interest rate. Yes, so they can get the timely loan from the bank at the reasonable interest rate. So if it is a reasonable interest rate, if it is a cheaper interest rate, the people can able to repay the loan in a faster way without any difficulties. Yes. Yes. The next thing, the self-help groups or the building blocks of the organization of the rural poor. And not only do they yeah not they help it is not only help the women to become financially self-reliant, and the regular meetings of the group provide a platform to discuss and act on the variety of social issues such as health, nutrition, and domestic violence. So listen here. So this self-help groups not only provide the financial help for the women, and also the regular meetings enhance the women's to discuss about the variety of social issues such as health and nutrition and the domestic violence, all these things. So these are all the advantages of the self-help group. So first of all, the people, there is the borrower can able to overcome the problem of lack of collateral, and they can get the timely loan for variety of purposes. At the same time, they'll get loan at the reasonable interest rate. And of course, this is not only helpful for the women to be self-reliant in the financial matter, and also it provides a platform for the women to discuss about the various social issues. Okay, and now we are going to look at about the Grameen Bank of Bangladesh. Okay, so as I told, the banks are comes under the formal sector of credit, right? So we are going to look at the Grameen Bank of Bangladesh. So look at this. So here the Grameen Bank of Bangladesh performs the most important function by providing credit to the poor people. As we have learnt about the self-help group, this Grameen Bank of Bangladesh is also helping the poor people to get a low interest of rate. Okay, and they lend loan about 8.63 million of people in 81,390 villages across Bangladesh. So this Grameen Bank achieved in lending loan to about 8.63 million of people. And also this Grameen Bank of Bangladesh spread it out the 81,300 390 villages across the Bangladesh. It reached this much of villages across Bangladesh. And this Grameen Bank enabled the poor women to come up. Okay, so this Grameen Bank enabled the poor women to come up with a small business activities to generate income for their survival. And thus, these activities lead to improve the standard of living and development of the economy. So, listen, your children. So, this Grameen Bank helping purely to the women. There is a poor woman in the villages, and of course, the loan which the women are obtaining from this bank, no, it is helpful for the women to set up some small business activities, and they can get profit from that, and can they can use it for their survival. So this activity leads to improve the standard of living and the development of the economy. Okay, so this is what about children. So up to this topic, we came to the end of the chapter. So throughout this chapter, we have been discussing about the money and the history of money, and how what are the various forms of money, and of course we learned about the credit and the two different situations of credit, and of course we learned about uh, there is a need to extend the bank and cooperatives in the rural area. So bank and cooperatives are needed to lend their service more in rural area, so that the poor can able to come up or come up their standard of living. They can obtain loan from variety of reason, and also they can get the cheaper interest rate while getting loan from the bank. So throughout this chapter, we have analyzed all about the money and also about the credit. Okay, so up to this, we came to the end of the chapter. So we completed this chapter, money and credit children. So to receive our online lesson, press subscribe button and you will get the latest notification. Thank you.